trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record. Been a little too nice to y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate. I woke in the bar today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. Trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record. So y'all, snake eyes on dice for y'all, shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hate. I woke in the bar today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the bars. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record. I still want the act, not the ghost. For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way.
Hey, Parrot. What's happening? How you doing? All right, I think we're just about set. Yep, I gotta hop in here. I always forget to do this part. So we got this now. All right. And then, here we go. Beautiful. So what is going on in Chellington? I haven't spent really a lot of time in Farm Sim over the past week. I've been rallying a lot. I've been flying a lot. I got Flight Simulator working again. We'll see if that holds up. Let me see. Do I have all my gates closed? Yep. Got the gate closed over there. Where to begin? Where to begin? So I got all of our bales put away from, I think, last episode. Yeah, I got all these put up. And I did bring in all of, what was it? Field 2-9. Let's get the map open here. Yep, field 2-9 was the field that we had corn in. I brought that all in. Now, I did notice as soon as we were done with it, I did notice that it needed plowed. So I hit it with the, a subsoiler, a 4-meter subsoiler. So I did get that plowed again. And I'm told that with Maize Plus, you do have, it's not, the interval for plowing is not 3 harvests as it is in base game. It's a little bit more variable. So I did get that plowed. We'll have that bonus going. We brought in our little wheat field. Where was it? Fat figure. Field 121. We brought that in as well. So that is harvested. We can put something in there. We put sugar beet in field 2-7. I think I want to put corn in field 2-8 and field 2-9. And then like maybe alfalfa or clover in field 2-5. And we'll figure out what we're going to put in field 121. So if we go to precision farming, let me see right here. So lime is good for everybody, more or less. And we've got to throw some fert, but we don't need to throw any fert in field 2-5. We can just put our alfalfa or our clover in there straight away. And we do have a fertilizer injector on our big planter that we're going to use to put corn in field 2-9. So let's try that. I don't think we've done that yet. I know we've spread fert since I came back to 19. We've spread fert, but I don't think we've injected it as we're planting. So let's hop in here and we'll get started. Oh man, yeah, I've spent a lot of time doing things other than farming. Been in a lot of different titles. What time is it? It's 5:30 in game. That'll be perfect. We can work as the sun goes down. Fantastic. So I did get Microsoft Flight Simulator working. I pre-ordered it, and I played it when it dropped. I got it working. It was frustrating. It was disappointing, but I had only ever flown general aviation up till that point in my sim life. I don't know. And I hadn't really been into flight sim at all since I got back into gaming a few years ago. So the general aviation stuff was fine, and I had no point of comparison. I had no reference for whether or not the airliners were good. I do now because I've spent so much time in X-Plane since I uninstalled Flight Sim. But it is a gorgeous game, and there have been some patches and some new content dropped. So I wanted to give it a try, and it took multiple installs, and I don't even know what I did that got it working again, but it is working. It is working. So I've been flying. Ernie, what's happening? How you doing? I've been flying general aviation, and it's been fun. It really has. It's a work in progress. You know, it is missing some things, but so it goes. It's a work in progress. And it's disappointing to see a studio that big working for a corporation that big sort of go through that process, but whatever. You know, they'll figure it out. Now, do we have a lid on this thing? We do. We have a lid on the fert. I don't think we have a lid on the... Yeah, I don't think we have lids on the little hoppers over here for seed. So we've got seed back here in the back of the barn. Yeah. So let's go find our... where did I leave it? Let's go find our... Why is that closing? What? What is happening right now? You know, I've been seeing more and more of this. How do we open this door? What? I've been seeing more and more. Yeah, there's the camera. I've been seeing more and more of this. I think this is not specifically related to Farm Sim. I think I've got some overlap somewhere. There we go. I think I've got some overlap in my input somewhere. And I don't mean input bindings for a specific game. I mean, I think I've got too many control devices plugged in, and I need like new drivers, or I need to just reinstall them or something. Because I noticed it in Farm Sim a lot, but I noticed it for the first time ever. I noticed it in another title where it was like the game was getting phantom input from somewhere else. So I may have to reinstall. And the timing, I guess, is pretty good because I am going to be moving house in about a week. And I will have to pull my rig apart. So that may be a perfect opportunity to try to figure out what the problem is. Or, depending on how silly I'm feeling, it could be an opportunity to just buy another rig and split things up a little bit. Split... What? Yeah, see, like right there, it just... The game just minimized. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything. The game just minimized as though there had been an input. So, yeah, hopefully it doesn't get a whole lot worse. If it does, unfortunately, I will have to stop the stream, but I don't know what's causing it. I haven't really been able to find anything out about it. I've looked on Reddit, a couple other places, and the only feedback that I've received so far is reinstall your control devices. And I'm sort of conflicted because I will be pulling everything apart next week. Let's rotate that back a little bit. I will be pulling everything apart next week to move. So I'm sort of going to do it anyway. And for that reason, it's like I don't want to do it twice. You know, I don't want to reinstall everything and then move and then have to reinstall it all again anyway. But I was half kidding, half serious about just buying another tower. And then that way I would have, instead of like 7 or 8 control devices plugged into one, I would have like 4 apiece. And I don't know why this isn't possible. I've looked into it to see if there is such a thing as an analog USB switch box. And I don't really think there is, and I don't know why that can't be a thing, but one of the things that I want to avoid is pulling all my USB or pulling multiple USB out. There we go, that's going in there. So that I don't have all my devices on at the same time. So, in other words, if I was going to be in Flight Sim, I would unplug my gamepad and my G13 panel, and right? But what I don't want to get into is where I'm constantly, like, putting that wear and tear on my USB ports. I know it's not that big a deal, but it's, I don't know. I would hate to wear out a motherboard USB port. And I've got everything through a hub right now. Well, everything that can be. I have some things directly into the motherboard USB ports. But everything else is into a hub, and that's better because if that wears out, it's like a $60 item. Instead of having to have... You gotta have the Sparky solder a new USB port onto your motherboard, and that's always, you know... That's always a little... nerve-wracking. Right. So, put that right there. All right. Hey, is the chat working? Is the chat still working right now? I know we lost it last week during a stream. If you can hear me, let me know. I don't know if it's just super quiet right now or if my browser crapped out again. Come on now. Oh, palette physics working for once. Okay, so there is that, and is this thing, I think it's almost full of fertilizer. Let's take a look here. If it is, then we can head straight away down to field 2.9. And if it's not, we can throw a little bit in there. I don't know how thirsty this field is going to be as far as... it's got 80%. Oh, no worries, Ernie. No worries. Just confirming. Ever since that happened, I'm like, when it gets quiet, I get a little bit gripped. All right, so we will we'll throw in here one big bag of solid fert, like so. And we are, just about out of money. 300 pounds. All right, let's bump the loan a little bit. Hate to do it, but we have to. Take it to 50, so we've got 25,000 in the bank right now in case we need it for anything. Right, so what else is going on? Maize Plus. So we did a maize harvest, and we harvested it as corn, right? We got 40,000 liters in. And for some reason, I thought we did that because we needed it for the cows. We don't. For the sheep, maybe? So we can feed them maize silage. But we can also feed them fermented grass, which we have plenty of. We've got a ton of bales on the other side of the yard. So I don't know why exactly I did that. I think there was a good reason at the time, but clearly not a valid reason. So we're going to plant more corn. We're going to do that today. And we need to figure out a way to harvest this as maize silage. So I think we just do it as we would in base game. Right? So we'll just use a forage harvester, whether it's self-propelled or trailed or whatever. We'll just use a forage harvester. And we can either put it in a pit. I mean, I guess we could... Well, if we didn't want to use... No, we would have to, because there'd be no other way to... No other way to harvest it. You know what I mean? If we just hit it with a regular combine harvester, maybe a mower? No, that doesn't sound right. So we'll have to use a forager. There we go. And we'll put it, I guess, in either one of the pits here at the farm or one of the pits down at the PGA somewhere. And that will be animal food. But I don't know. I don't fully understand Maize Plus. Somebody is kind enough to post a PDF. I'm kind of figuring it out. I mean, it definitely adds a lot of complexity to the game, and I like that. But there's some parts of it I still don't understand. So we are going to plant corn today, and then the next time we harvest it, we will harvest it as silage. I mean, I guess if we're going to feed it to the cows, it makes more sense to put it in the pit here at the farm than at the BGA, because the BGA is like other side of the map. So, all right, we'll do that. Right, like so. Don't. There we go. Drop. Ah, beautiful. So that is what we're going to do today. We'll plant some corn, and we'll plant some alfalfa, I think, because we have one clover field. We need to plant an alfalfa field. And we'll also plant down at the far end. I don't know what to put down there. Oats, maybe? Something. All right, so close our covers. Covers are closed. And we are on our way. And before I forget, let's swap this over to corn. There we go. Because I will forget and plant another field of sugar beets, and then we'll have to deal with that. I'm still getting lone oak cleaned up. We've got all that wheat row in. Whoa, easy. We've got all that wheat row in one of the fields. I need to get all of that baled up. Then we need to get all the bales put into the barn. And there's a great big grass field right across across the street, across the lane maybe, from the farmhouse there. And that, I guess, is going to be hay bales. Or of the two grass fields, one will be hay bale, one will be silage bales. But then, carefully, then we put the hay bales in the barn. We can leave the silage bales outside because, of course, it's always summer if you're not running seasons. So then we'll have straw bales, square straw bales, square hay bales, and square silage bales. So we'll be all set to get some cows going at that point. And we may or may not continue to do streams of lone oak. I like it, but it is, I don't know, man. It's a lot of really big fields. I feel like part of the skill of being a map maker is knowing how big fields need to be. And I know, of course, lone oak was made by Bullet Bill and then converted by Oxygen David, so they definitely both know what they're doing. I'm not saying they don't, but great big fields, sometimes they're fun to play, but I don't know that they're always fun to watch. So, got to figure that out. Bucks County, I've heard good things about that. All right, and we'll fold this up. All right, and I think what we end up doing here... I think we're going to end up doing this because this thing is so wide. I think we're going to end up doing what we did last time and just more or less do the field ourselves, but it'll go by quickly enough, and then we'll refill this thing if we need to. Probably will. We'll refill if we need to and take this over to that field that is across the lane there directly in front of us and continue working on that one as well. Right. So we're going to turn that on. Lower, and be on our way here. Eventually, there we go. And it looks like we are, yep, we are applying fertilizer. There we go. Get those out of the weeds. We are applying both fertilizer and seed. Both the values are dropping carefully. So we'll see how this field looks as far as fertilizer when we're done with it. It's the first time I've tried this since I got Precision Farming DLC. I don't think we've injected fertilizer out of a planter or a drill. We've always done it manually. Nice part of the country? Yeah. It's, I mean, growing up there was nice. I'm glad, I'm glad that I grew up there, but I'm also glad that I left. But it's a pretty part of the world. It's also super, super haunted too. I don't know why exactly, but parts of Pennsylvania, it's like Massachusetts. They're just known for being kind of spooky. All right, find a good gear. Got one. There he goes. And I'm trying to think what else is going on. Yep, iRacing, a ton of rally. I've been really trying to get the top tier unlocked in WRC 8. I never did get WRC 9. It's on the Epic Game Store. I'd like to get it, but I don't want to have to use the Epic Game Store to do it. And I'm enjoying WRC 8. Did I say 8? 9. Yeah, 9 is the new one. That's on Epic Game Store. I don't have that one. I have WRC 8, and I'm just enjoying it quite a bit. Now, I'm told WRC 9 is everything WRC 8 is, and more, and better. So certainly not opposed to that, but I'm content with what I've got so far. And I think this could be the first year since I got back into gaming. I may skip some franchise titles. I think it's time. I bought so many titles in 2019 and 2020 just for the channel. Played them once or twice for the channel. The episode didn't do well. I didn't really enjoy the gameplay or notice a lot of difference. And, you know, it's sort of wasted money. So I think I'm going to be a lot more selective this year. And I said this, I don't know, maybe the last time we streamed. I do think it's amazing that the most popular titles on the channel are all several years old. And in some cases, many years old. But these are the titles that seem to work the best for you. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the latest and greatest. And that would be, for this year, that would be pretty much anything made by Milestone. And also F1 2021. They're really going to need to. Now, that game it's been sort of the same for a few years. So if they were going to do anything different, this would be, I mean, it could be the year to do it. I'm not saying it will be. But there haven't been any really big changes since, I want to say, about 2017. So we'll see if they got anything for me. And if we go, let's go. I know, not super realistic the way we're driving this thing, but I've been playing a lot less realistically. And I am carefully. And I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it more. I'm enjoying it differently. I don't think I'll ever want to play, I don't know, not too silly. But I'm just playing a lot more laid back and really, really enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes even every other year. I know that they always tune things up for the new graphics cards, but I'm starting to think unless there's really a big improvement that they can really prove, then I'll wait for it to go on sale. I just feel like I've been burned too many times. And I feel like studios know that for a lot of gamers, if you release it, they will buy it. You know, you don't really need to put anything in there. But 2019, that's when I began to hear the backlash, like, significantly. You know, that people really are starting to feel used. So maybe 2019 was the year that's when the industry woke up. We'll see. But for me personally, yeah, this year I think some of them I'm just going to skip them. And we are about half full on corn. Might be able to finish. Might not. If we run out, we can just have some seed and fert delivered to this field. But I have been enjoying Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is a gorgeous game. It really is. It's got some problems. It's got some bugs. Growing pains, call it what you will, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And I really do think it is going to have a pretty profound impact on expectations for big world games. So good on them for that. And I did get it working. And I have been doing some general aviation flying and really, really enjoying it. We got a new Donegal airport. We got Barra, which is a little tiny airstrip in Scotland. We got Lennon in Liverpool. We got a new Manchester, I want to say. I'm trying to think if there are any others that I can remember from the notes off the top of my head. But yeah, it seems like for general aviation, that's the one to go with. And also just for more casual flying. If you just want to fly around. And you can, I mean, a lot of the systems work in both the jets and the GA. Yeah, I think I might. I would like to do, because there's a King Air and a Cessna 206, which are fairly big general aviation aircraft. They're big, small aircraft, if that makes sense. And I think those would be fun to fly, like to start in a place like Barra, stop in Donegal, and then fly from Donegal to Lennon in Liverpool, or to Manchester, or to, I don't know, wherever. And from there to Gatwick. I think that would be a fun flight, whether we're doing full stop landing or touch and go or whatever. We'll figure it out in the stream. But I think that's some fun flying, because I mean, being in the air, it's not the most fun. Taking off and landing is where the fun is at. So I think we might focus on taking off and landing as much as possible. It's a little hokey. It's probably not realistic, but like I said, I'm not as worried about realism as I used to be. So yeah, I thought we could do that in a stream and take a look at some of the scenery as well. It is. I did a stream. Owen, who's a mod on Discord. Owen is from Ireland, and he suggested a flight. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the cities, but I did the flight at about 1,500 feet in the Cessna, in the 172. And it was just absolutely amazing. Looking down in the fields and seeing hay bales with shadows was like too much. I've never seen a game look like that. So if we could do a stream like that, I think that would be a lot of fun. Now, the King Air and the 206 do fly a little bit higher than that typically. They are bigger and faster, so they would probably be like 10,000 feet, 12,000 feet. And the view is not nearly as good, so we may have to fudge it a little bit. But yeah, most of the systems in the GA aircraft and most of the systems in the airliners sort of work. It's not study grade, right? Like X-Plane. Well, X-Plane with mods. X-Plane base game is not really study grade either, but you can get a lot of study grade payware, freeware aircraft. So it's definitely not study grade, but it'll do, you know? It's a lot of fun to fly. And yesterday when I was testing it, I flew from Liverpool to Donegal, and ATC ATC is definitely hit or miss in Flight Sim. Mostly miss. And when I got there, they sort of abandoned me. The weather was horrific. I had asked for IFR clearance. As I get to Donegal, they tell me, all right, we're going to send you vectors for a visual approach, which they never did. They never sent me vectors, so I'm trying to find the airport myself. It was clouds and really IMC all the way down to probably, I don't know, about 800 feet. So I come out of that at 800 feet. Now I'm in fog, but I can at least see the airport. I get approximately lined up, and I'm in the King Air, which is a big, heavy aircraft. It's a GA aircraft, but it is big and heavy. I get lined up, and as I'm getting closer and closer, I'm realizing, like, the runway looks really, really short. What is going on here? Why does it look so short? And I realized as I was just about to land that it was like a 4,000-foot runway. So it was very exciting. And I was able to get down okay, get down safely. But I think that's a fun thing to stream. You know, that's being in the air for an hour and nothing really happening. That's no fun. But having some drama like that, I think that's a lot more fun. So if we can make that happen, try to do that. All right, so if we get backed up here. Refill. Refill. Doesn't quite take all of that, but I think if we... how do we want to do this? Oh, good deal, Ernie. Yeah, I mean, I know flight is... I've said before, I need to figure out a way to make it work for the channel. Because I like it. But that doesn't necessarily mean... you know what I'm saying? Oh, the brakes on this tractor. I feel like I just smashed into everything. Yeah, it does look amazing. It is a frustrating title for me right now, but credit where credit is due. There is no other game that I've ever seen that looks that way, and I'm on a 1660 Ti, which is a decent card, but not great. I do have 32 gig of fast RAM, but you know, my system is by no means a weapon. It's good, and I love it, but it's not that good. And even on, I'd say my settings are high, a couple things on ultra, a couple things on medium, and I can get a really good frame rate somehow on that title and have it look amazing. I couldn't imagine what it looks like in 4K. I couldn't imagine what that game looks like on an RTX 3080 with 64 gig of RAM and just absolutely everything loaded and preloaded and no stutter at all. But yeah, it is an amazing game. Visually, it is an amazing game, and I really do like that part of it. Come on. There we go. And for GA, it is, yeah, it's really good for that. You know, I can't imagine. And I do have, so technically, if I were to watch it on my phone, that is 4K. But 4K on a phone, it's like, come on, man, it's fish in a barrel. The pixels are so small. It could be 8K. It could be 50K. It's going to look good either way. So I have seen some 4K streams on my phone, but that's the only real 4K device that I have, and it's so small. You know, of course it's going to be crisp. But I would like to see it in 4K or 8K, like on a big screen. Blow your mind. To me now, on my system, which, again, it's good, not great. On my system, there are times when I go third person and it looks like I'm watching a movie. So it is, I don't know. I feel that's obviously what got all their attention. And then a lot of other things didn't. And that's, you know, I know the game gets a lot of grief, and a lot of people are very disappointed and very frustrated by it. I don't know if that was an error on the part of Microsoft and Asobo, or if it was a business decision. I don't know if they concluded, you know what, these flight sim goofballs, they're never going to be happy. No matter what we give them, they're never going to be happy. So instead of focusing on the flight sim goofballs, why don't we focus on the console crowd? They're going to love it. If an aircraft is missing a button or a knob or a switch, they're not going to know or care. They're just going to know the game looks great. They're going to love flying. We're going to sell a ton of copies, and it's going to be awesome. And if the hardcore flight simmers are disappointed, so what? Even if the game was perfect, they would still find something to be disappointed about. So no loss there. So I don't know if it was an error on their part or a calculation. Could be either one. Neither would surprise me. And I finally, after a year, I finally got WRC8 to play with no stutters. And I have no idea how I did it. It was a combination of things, because I found a bunch of stuff on Reddit. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to adjust this in Nvidia 3D. You have to turn this off, then do this. And I just kept hacking at it. And it seems like whatever I did worked, because it works now. Yeah, it really is. We've talked about this too. I think with consoles being what they are right now and the direction they're headed in, I think PC gaming over the next few years is going to really have to kind of reevaluate and reinvent itself. I think it is going to become the domain of hardcore sim gamers and possibly hardcore FPS gamers. Titles like Insurgency and Squad, right? Postscriptum, Hell Let Loose, Tarkov. I think it's going to be Mill Sim and Flight Sim and Race Sim, and everything else is going to be on console. I don't know that there's going to be really any advantage to PC anymore. And for the longest time, you know, if you wanted your game to look a certain way, you knew you just had to play it on PC. You had to spend the money, you had to get the skill set as far as, you know, keeping everything configured and drivers and Windows updates. You had to figure out a way to make all that happen. And with console, you don't have to do that. You just turn it on and the games look amazing. End of story. So with these 8th gen consoles now, PC is, I think for the first time ever, PC is not quite obsolete, but in the neighborhood. You know, it is not, I don't think it is as clear-cut as it used to be. You know, if you want, buy a console and just play. Exactly. I don't want to be a programmer. That's seeing people talking in the flight sim forums about what you need to do to get the game to update, what you need to do to get it running. You know, you need to go into your registry editor. And people are like, man, no, I do not. If I paid $120 for a title and it requires me to like put on my miner's helmet and my spelunker's light and mess with my PC to make it play, forget it, man. That's a broken game. And console, nothing. Turn it on and play. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it would be great if that drove prices down on the PC side. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in time for me to buy a new system, especially if I do it next week, but you know what I mean. Maybe that'll help us out as PC gamers. I think I'm always going to be on PC. There's a couple titles that I would be willing to get an Xbox for. And I may even get either an old new stock current Xbox, right? Not the 8th gen, but the one before, whatever it is, the 360, the One X, I don't know. Whatever the best 7th generation Xbox is. Maybe get one of those on the cheap so I can play Forza. Do I want to do this little bit right there? Not realistic, but I think I will. And for PlayStation, I don't know. I'm trying to think what titles I would buy a PS4 for. There's got to be some. I'm sure there are. But at that point, then you got to get a big-ass TV because you can't play console. In 2021, you can't play console on like a 27-inch. You got to go, you got to go buck wild. And then you got to get either gaming chairs or a great big sofa or something. So everything leads to something else. All right, didn't quite take all of that. And we're just, can we fit it through the gate? Let's head across the way here and see if we can fit this thing through the gate hooked up. If we can't, we will disconnect it. Oh, clip the hedge a little bit. Oh, clip the pallet a little bit. All right. I said I wasn't playing as realistically, but maybe not quite so. Maybe not quite so cash. God of War, yeah. I'm afraid of games like God of War. I really am. I know my issues. I know my vulnerabilities. And I'm super, super careful about any game that can take me down that just one more level road. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go to bed. Oh, you know what? Just one more. If I do one more level, I can close out a boss tonight. God of War definitely strikes me as that kind of title for me. All right. What do we want to do? We want to do this one manually too? I mean, we may as well. Because I feel like Courseplay, every time we try Courseplay in these fields, it just ends up stuck in the trees. Now, this field already has fertilizer on it, so I don't think it's going to draw any fert, even if we have it on and active. So we're only going to be applying seed here. And this will be corn as well. Yeah, let's just do it manually. Mateo, what's happening? How you doing? All right, so we'll look that up. And I guess we'll start over here in the corner. Yeah, let's try to do Flight Sim tomorrow, Ernie. Yeah, exactly. I joke about being OCD, but I am. I've got issues with task abandonment. It's an OCD thing. It's an autism thing. So I need to be really careful of that type of level-based game because I really will play it till my eyes are burning. Did I check out the mods? I checked out Ernie's... Oh, what was it? It was the British Assets Pack. I've got that going. And I'm trying to think what other mods was I to check out. Remind me. Because I may have. Oh, did not want to make that turn. New map? Are you asking or telling? Are you saying there was a new map on the mod hub, or are you asking if this is a new map? Hills of Italy. Ooh, that sounds interesting. That sounds like a place where you could grow cotton. Cotton and maybe sugarcane. I think the mountains of Italy are famous for their sugarcane, are they not? I'm looking for hotter places where we can grow some of the crops that we never grow. And if we're pretending that lone oak, I know it's based in Oregon, but if we're pretending it's Texas, we can at least grow cotton. We could probably sneak in a little sugarcane. Just for fun, just to mix it up. Hills of Italy. I don't know. It's Mediterranean. Cotton, maybe. Probably not sugarcane. Greenlands and Griffin, Indiana. Those both sound interesting. How big are the fields on Griffin, Indiana? Are they great big square American, Canadian sort of industrial fields, or are they, I don't know, more in line with like a standard farm sim field? Big, yeah. All right, I'll take a look. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a good map. I'll take a look. I'm trying to find an American style map that does have slightly smaller fields, so we don't spend the entire episode in one field. Yeah, I think I did cotton once and sugarcane once, Ernie, just to, I don't know, just because. And I found both to be kind of boring, I have to say. What is on the agenda? We're getting corn in field 27 to 29. I was going to have Courseplay do it, or maybe a hired worker, but hired worker really struggles with these fields. Courseplay does as well. So we're doing it manually, but we've got this great big planter on, so it's going fairly quickly. We're going to get these two fields done, and then we're going to hop in the JCB and put alfalfa. Is that right? Yeah, we're going to put alfalfa in one of our smaller fields across the highway from the farm. And if we have time, we're going to go down and put maybe oats or rye in field 121. And we are broke. I did have to borrow some money. But because we have money now, I think I may lease a different drill from the Cavernaland pack that is completely unnecessary, but I just want to kind of test it out because I don't think I've used it yet. And that's all I've got for today. And I realized, if you caught the title, I realized that I did not. We planted corn, and I think the goal was to make maize silage for the cows, and I completely forgot to do that. I just brought it in as corn. So, yeah, I'm still learning Maize Plus. Mistakes were made, but we'll figure it out. I mean, props to Giants for sugarcane and cotton. I think that's one of those things that, you know, you never know until you do it. And maybe their research indicated, maybe their feedback from fans indicated that sugarcane would be something that people would like. Who knows? Personally, I think grapes would have been much better, because I know the game is big in Germany and Poland and places like that. And there are grapes there. There are vineyards. Yeah, I thought, so we've got this, I don't know why there's this overlap, but there's so many feed types that it sort of cuts over where the actual amount is. And I thought for sure we could feed them just corn. But when I took it down there, they absolutely would not take it. Don't want it. Now, the sheep will take fresh maize, but orchard farming, yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that. Either fruits or nuts or both. I think having like almond orchards would be fun, and plus you would get to use the shakers, and that would be a fun piece of equipment to use, fun piece of kit. Now, they would have to script in the trees or design the trees in a way that they were, like, super animated. Because I know shakers are, if you've ever seen one, they're super violent. Like, they're so violent that you think they must be damaging the tree. But I think that'd be a lot of fun to have an almond orchard or a walnut orchard or something, and you have to pull up to the trees with a shaker and knock everything down and then vacuum it up. Something. But yeah, orchards would be a great idea. I would gladly trade cotton and sugarcane for vineyards and orchards. And we'll see if that makes its way into the next one. Yeah, I don't even remember where I was. It was like, I think we were in wine country up in the Central Valley, and it was like a working farm tour. And the guy said, you know, we use shakers to get the fruit out of the tree. I'll show you how they work now. And I thought it was going to be kind of like a gentle swaying rocking motion, and it was just absolutely violent how fast and rough it was. All right. It seems like it would be bad for the tree. That was my concern. I'm by no means an environmentalist, and I'm going to smooth this one out because we got this little hump here where the gate is. Just kind of trim that off. I was really not expecting it to be that violent. But yeah, that'd be a fun thing to bring in game. I wonder sometimes how much developers listen. I know even probably the best developer off the top of my head that I can think of right now is SCS, in terms of, you know, how attentive they are to their fan base and how well they listen. But even them, I wonder sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Not a good way to go. I wonder how much developers in general are able to listen to their fan base and react to it. And how much, I mean, because you don't really know. You don't see their internal research. I think in some ways, if you're a developer, you can kind of just do whatever you want. And if there's any backlash, just say, well, you know, we did research. This is what you told us you wanted. Right? And now you get the fan base. You're gaslighting to the point where they're all kind of looking at each other like, well, I didn't tell them that, but I guess somebody did. I don't think a smart developer is going to just make unilateral decisions about the direction of their game without getting input or feedback from the user base. But I wonder what they do when the input that they're getting is not practical, it's not appropriate, it's not something that they had planned on implementing, or maybe it's not something they're capable of implementing. What do you do at that point? You know, you can't just ignore them, but you sort of have to ignore them. Just do what you think is best. Couple little spots that we missed as we came through there, but again, I'm trying not to just paint the entire field. So some of these little places, it's not worth putting in a whole row, right? The whole width of a row just to fix one little 1 or 2 meter spot that I missed. Man, we are still trying to work the Pro Mods debacle out of these fields. I feel like that scarring is going to be under there permanently. And that is part of Maize Plus, is it not? Because we've had multiple crops in these fields, and it's like we're out of sync. We can't get those areas fertilized over. Yeah, exactly. And as far as I know, I mean, I don't know this for sure, and it doesn't matter to me either way. I'm not like taking any sides in the issue, but I don't know if there's a big South American or Central American player base. So if they were pursuing that, then that makes perfect sense from a business perspective. But I don't know any sim farmer. I've never met one. I've never heard of any sim farmer that said, you know, what we really need is a South American map in base game. That's what I've been waiting on. And I mean, there's so many other places that seem to be higher than that on the wish list. I don't know where they came up with that. All right, so we're down to 10%. Here's what we got to do. This is a little hokey, but here's what we got to do. We have to lift this thing, turn it off, unfold it, take it over here in this unseeded part of the field. All right. Drop it right there. Oh, and I found the sweet spot for, well, I think maybe I found the sweet spot for Farm Sim settings as well. I did max out the scaling, but I've left some of the draw distances a little bit short. They're at like 130, 140 instead of 175. But I feel like the draw distance on the game is kind of scuffed anyway. So it's like you can make it as high as you want. It's never really going to be gorgeous. It's never going to be perfect. So bring the draw distances in and max out the scaling. I've got a great frame rate. Everything up close looks good, and everything far away kind of always looks bad anyway. Brazilian. Interesting. All right. All right. And whoa. Drifting away. Are you kidding me? There was like 2 liters. There was like 2 liters in that pallet that was still sitting there. Oh, game. All right. So let's head back over here to this side of the... Is this a highway or a lane? We're doing good on fertilizer. I think we have dropped a little bit of fertilizer with Precision Farming DLC. So prior to Precision Farming, or if you're not running it, I feel like the fertilizer states are binary, right? Either the field will accept fertilizer or it will not. But with Precision Farming, I feel like there can be little pockets of a field that you've already fertilized that will take more fertilizer. So it's... I think definitely more realistic in the, it's like a soft logic now. Am I saying that right? But I think what is not realistic is that you wouldn't be sort of sporadically fertilizing a field over and over throughout the year. That would be more of a sort of one and done process. I'm trying to get this thing on the correct side. There we go. And I don't even think this is all going to fit in there. It may. It may not. Oh, game. I also wonder sometimes, because Agco owns everything, right? Agco is like Nabisco. It's like Northrop Grumman, Unilever. Agco owns like every farm equipment company in the world, do they not? So I wonder sometimes if it's not part of the licensing agreements that Giants has with these companies, that they would not use FarmSim to promote a brand or a particular... God, I just keep running into things with the John Deere. That they would use the licensing agreement to sort of compel Giants to promote a certain piece of kit or a certain brand. I mean, I don't know. It makes sense from a marketing perspective, but then from the other side, it's like, I mean, do they really get a lot of unit sales because something is in FarmSim? That seems unlikely. But I don't know for sure. Because it was all, what was the stuff that was in South America? The brand was Stara? Is that right? And I don't know if that is a standalone brand or if they're owned by Agco. But I'm just kind of speculating whether or not the licensing agreements indicate that Giants will represent, X number of Agco products in the title. And if they ran out, it's like, oh, what do you got left over there? Well, we've got sugarcane. Fine. We'll put sugarcane in the game. All right. Let's just do lengths now. We've been going roundy. We got plenty of headland to work with. I know I did this field completely the opposite of how you would do it in real life, and we are driving over areas that we've planted, but as I said, I'm just playing to have fun. More and more lately, just trying to enjoy myself. So we'll see if these scars ever go away. What we've got left here from the Proceed incident. I mean, it's not that big a deal, and you can't see them once the crop starts to grow. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. When I first started streaming, I think because the streamers that I enjoy the most, a lot of them play super, super realistically, and also different types of sims, you know, flight sims and that sort of thing. I was watching combat sim pilot called Spudknocker, did a 4-hour mission, and I watched it. I didn't like sit and watch it like a movie. I just kind of had it on in the background while I was working. But they took off from the aircraft carriers, which is amazing in DCS, by the way, at night. Unbelievable. And then flew at night, refueled at night, did their sortie, and then on the way back to the boat, they had to do an aerial refueling again. And it's not automated in any way. While they were refueling on the inbound leg, another flight came on the radio and said that one of their flight lead had hit the tanker while he was refueling and crashed them both. So it's the way that these servers and squads play it. There's no do-over. So if you get shot down, if you crash, you're done for the night. And I didn't know that you could take out the tanker. But that's the kind of sim gaming that I watched. And so when I started the channel, I was really, for the first several years, trying to be absolutely as realistic as possible. But I'm definitely moving away from that now. I still play that way, but I don't necessarily want to stream that way. Yeah, exactly. Well, like we said, driving around the barricades in Truck Sim. If nobody's watching, I will totally do that. If I'm streaming, of course, I take the long way and I find the alternate route. But if it's just me, not every time. Not every time. There are times when I'm playing, not streaming, when I do honor the detour, but sometimes I don't. Just not in the mood, you know? And I typically don't speed, but I will, if it's a long delivery and I'm starting to kind of lose interest, I will start to blow off red lights. But at the end of the day, it is just a game, and it is just for fun. Some of these work sims, that is the best description I've ever heard of them. But things like farm sim, truck sim, train sim, flight sim, I don't know. Maybe because being a pilot is more exciting and interesting. Who knows? That's always sort of been in a slightly different category. But things like farm sim, we're just simulating something that somebody does for a living. It's a work sim. And I know in real life, at the end of the day, at the end of the work day, it is really a struggle not to cut some corners. So if we're simulating work, it's not surprising that there are times when, yeah, just, I wouldn't say I'm over it, but just, all right, I'm ready to be done with this. I can't move on to the next phase. Like if a field is 90% planted, it's not going to be done until it's 100% planted. I got to do the last of it, but not feeling it. And we'll have enough seed to finish this, and then I'm going to leave through that gate right there. And whatever is left on the pallet, we'll put that in. I believe that will make the pallet disappear. Perfect. Take this thing back, park it up. If I can slide over a little bit, there we go. Take this thing back and park it up. And then we'll hop in the JCB, I guess. And lease that other, it's the front and rear Cavernaland. Seed tank on the front. Drill in the back. We'll lease that, and Universal God 66. That is a hell of a screen name. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. We'll head up to, it's the little one over here, field 25. We'll head over to field 25 and plant alfalfa. And then we'll head down to field 121 and plant something else in there. I don't know. We'll figure out what we want to put in. I did, not last night, the night before. What's today? Tuesday. So Sunday night, I got done with all the Season 3 content for Breakpoint. I'm on PC, Universal. PC with a gamepad. I did get all the Season 3 content done, so that is Amber Rain, I want to say Resistance. There's a couple other ones. And there's some new character types. I went with Pathfinder. I got that up to level 10, so I got the M4 Scout. I got the M4 CQB, which I wanted both of those because those are two guns that I used to own in real life. I was very much into the black gun for a while, and I had a lot of different sort of iterations of it. I had tiny little short black guns. I had great big long black guns. But very much a fan of the AR platform, so the idea of having two M4s in Breakpoint was just a nice goal to sort of grind toward. But I got everything done, and I went on matchmaking several times. I've never seen this before in any title. I went on matchmaking several times in Breakpoint, and you know, you're used to waiting like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, right? Maybe you have to wait a minute or two for matchmaking on a game. I let the timer run 10 minutes multiple times for no preference. It's not like I was looking for somebody for raid or somebody for open world or somebody for immersion or whatever. Just anything. Looking for any other person playing Breakpoint who wanted to squad up. I let the meter run out to 10 minutes multiple times and never got a single match. So I'm comfortable saying that game is completely dead. And it's really no fun to play yourself. I'll play some Division 2 solo dolo, but yeah, not Breakpoint. Yeah, it's crazy. And I forgot how negative the press was when that game dropped. Now, they have fixed a lot of things about it, but I think it was just too little too late. Let's back this thing up. Man, I cannot get used to the brakes on this John Deere. I keep applying them just a little bit too late and drifting that extra foot or two. And did I? Nope. I got a moment, please. Need to unfold this guy. There we go. Then lower. But I saw a Karma Cut video last night, and he was saying that there is a new master mod for Insurgency Sandstorm that might turn it into the best tactical FPS at the moment. And that's also taking into consideration Squad, Arma 3, Tarkov, and if you're into the WW2, then also Postscriptum and Hell Let Loose. PS4 controller won't work to play FS19 on my PC. Does it recognize it at all? If you go into devices, if you go into your device manager, can you see it? Let's get this out of beautiful. You can get that palette cleaned up. I hate leaving palettes scattered around. I would say first thing is to confirm that your PC is seeing it properly. If that is the case, I think there's a couple. Oh, easy. Driving in the bushes trying to read chat. There are a couple, I don't know what you call them. They're almost emulators. Do you have it selected? I think in the main menu. Yeah, that's another option. Use the Steam. It sort of overwrites everything. And you know what? That's actually the best one. Yeah, good call, Ernie. I was going to suggest downloading a third-party emulator where you can essentially convert any input from a gamepad into any output that a game will recognize. But the Steam controller does that. It does it better, and it's one less thing you'll have to install. Yeah, good call. And the other thing, Universal, that you may have, I know I've had this with different games and different titles is if you do have that turned on, there are times when it sort of not bugs out, but it's like it defaults to a setting, and the game is looking for one set of controller inputs, and it's not that it's turned off, it's that it's turned on to the wrong thing. So it could just be a setting as well. Oh, did it again. Did it again. There's some input. Yeah. So right now, my my game just hopped to, it minimized. And there was no input from me. So there's some phantom input coming in from my system somewhere. And I want to do this next week when I have my system pulled apart anyway. I don't want to do it twice. But if it continues happening, if it continues to like mess with the stream, not just today, but in general, I think I'll have to sort it out. That's what spell check is for. All right, so we'll put this right in here. We're going to park up the John Deere, and then we'll swap over to the JCB. All right. There. And we'll lease this other Kverneland 2-piece. And it's now, going on 7 p.m. in game? Perfect. This game looks so good in the evening. Right. Right in there somewhere. So we want this thing right here. We'll set our delivery point. We want, where is it? This thing, also part of the Kverneland pack. This thing right here. So DF2 front upper, right. So we want to lease this. Yep, we want to lease this. I don't know, man. You got me. I wonder the same thing every time I stream. So we have one of those, and we need one of these now. Let me see. And then we want to reset this. Yeah, YouTube's a bit of a mystery to me. And I don't think I've ever used this kit before, so let's see how this goes. So we're gonna drop that. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So we will, let's put this on the front first, because we want the extra weight up front. We can do this. Let's go ahead like so. There we are. And let's get at least another one of these. Oh, don't hit the bales. Don't knock the pile of bales over. That's no good. Right out here. I wonder if that's coming from TrackIR. Man, I hope not. I hope not. I'm not. There's no possibility of me not using TrackIR for pretty much everything. So hopefully there's no problems. I think context is super important. I mean, I don't self-promote at all on the channel. If this is your first time here, I don't self-promote at all. So when someone, not that you did, I'm not saying that you did, but when somebody says, you know, hey, I subbed, will you sub for me? I immediately tell them, like, I've never seen you before. You're not a part of the channel. You're not a part of the fam. First time you're here and you're asking me to sub you. You're promoting yourself on a channel where I don't promote myself. But that's a very specific context, and it is obvious. It's heavy-handed, you know, and and those people leave as soon as you tell them. They leave and they never come back. So just telling somebody that you subbed them, no, it's not a problem at all. Beautiful. We have hoses. I love it. No, it doesn't bother me at all, and I don't think, you know, if you mean it sincerely, I don't think anybody would be bothered by that. You know, it's just if it has that subtext, right? Favorite script mods for 19? I mean, does VCA count as a script? Because I use VCA, I use the AdBlue mod. I'm trying to think what else I use. Guidance steering. I tried to use Proceed. I wanted to use Proceed, but I never did get it working. But yeah, I'd say VCA is probably the biggest game changer for me. It really slows the tractors down. It's sort of a less intense, more realistic. More realistic is too realistic. Vehicle control add-on. And it's sort of a combination of gearbox and more realistic from 17. Different modder, though. And I guess maybe a little bit of drive control as well. Ooh, easy. Jesus. All right. Hey, it's not a traffic simulator. It's a farm simulator. Good thing. All right. If we can get to the field carefully. All right, let me read this. Yes, it is called store deliveries, and I do use it. I didn't used to, but I'm using it now. It is on the mod hub. Hang on. Is this? No, this is the one we want. Hopefully nobody pulled in behind us. All right. If we can very quickly back up. It is on the mod hub. It's also on GitHub. If you know... yes, I know. Yes, I'm working on it. Thank you. If you know drive control by Upside Down and more realistic by always forget the name. And then what's the third one? Gearbox by Mowgli, was it, for 17? VCA sort of combines all those. And Mowgli, I think, also does guidance steering, so it interfaces with that really, really well. Uh-oh. Do you mean physically lost it, or do you mean your PC is not seeing it anymore? So if we go here, and I'm not being an ass when I say that, it's just, you know, trying to get all the information. So if we go here, that is clovers, so we want to put in alfalfa in this field. All right, so we go there. Alfalfa, done. It's a smart looking little drill. I like it. You mean physically lost it? Okay, see, now I'm glad that I asked, because before I said that, I thought, oh, come on, man. He means the device manager is just not seeing it anymore. He doesn't mean he physically lost it. Don't be that literal. So, yes, I think. I don't know, man. I'm not much of a speller. Here we go. This is very stately at 5 miles per hour. It looks pretty good though. It looks realistic, accurate. Man, I do like this JCB. I thought about going all John Deere on this farm since that's a brand we rarely use, but ended up mixing it up. I think because it took so long to get the mods working on this that I kind of want to use it on any UK style map that I'm on. I want to use this JCB just to get the most of the updates, the most of the edits. Which one was it? I mean, it couldn't have gone far. So if we go out here, right there, perfect. So then the next question is, with Maize Plus, do we have to harvest corn when it's still green? Did I read that somewhere? Because in real life, if you want whole crop corn, you can't. It can't be golden brown, right? It can't be like autumn corn. You got to do it late summer when it's still green. I don't know how it's coming through on Steam. I know YouTube likes to step on things, but the game looks really, really good right now. I think that 200% scaling is where it's at. Yeah, I'll take a look in the Maize Plus, that PDF again, and see when we want to harvest corn. Offhand, I don't know. Yeah, I feel that. I lost I don't have keys anymore. I'm serious, I have like no physical keys in my world. Everything is fobs now. Fobs, and then I've got, like, no joke, probably 15 or 18 of those little mini barcode tabs that go on your keychain for loyalty points, or use them at the grocery store, use them at the drugstore, whatever. It's what they scan when you go to your gym, right? So I have no physical keys anymore on my keychain. It's like living in the future. I have multiple fobs, and I have like at least a dozen of those little mini barcode tabs. And I lost the fob from my building, like to actually get into my condo complex. And it's one of those weird moments like, well, now what? Because it's not like you have a spare fob like under the flower pot or under the doormat or something. What do you do? So it's like a security building. Right? I just waited out front till somebody walked in and just walked in behind them. How do you do? You know, I find mine weird places. Well, I'm wired again, but when I had the wireless, I would find it weird places like on the counter in the kitchen. Like I went out to get a cup of coffee and took it out there with me and set it down. Or, you know, just someplace weird. Like retrace your steps. And that's where you left it. All right, and this is, yeah, we'll be able to get this done, and I think field 121, no problem, because for everything that we've done in this field so far, we've used 6% of what we had in there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So Hank, the other thing that works well if you're running VCA, there is a keyboard steering sensitivity, or it's called realistic steering or something. It's not the REA mod. It's got another name, but it's designed for keyboard steering, and I find that in combination with VCA on a gamepad, it really works well, because even with the settings turned, with the sensitivities turned all the way down, gamepad seems just, the tractors are so hypersensitive. You just move the stick the tiniest little bit, and they're off the road into the hedge. So realistic steering and VCA, for me, it's a good combo. And I've never noticed any conflict with them. They seem to play well together. Oh, cool. There you go. Yeah, don't lose your limited controller. And I think, how are we doing so far? Hour and 21 minutes. Yeah, I think all we've really got to do right now, the animals are all taken care of. I fed them and mucked out right before I started the stream, so the animals don't need anything. And there's nothing to harvest right now, and we've done so much grass work lately. I don't necessarily want to do grass work again. And we don't, even if I did do grass work, we don't need anything. We've got plenty of hay bales. We've got plenty of silage bales. Animals are fed, so we don't need to do grass work at the moment. So all we've really got to do is plant these fields. Okay, right on. I've got a wheel in the center of my desk. I have to reach over it to get to my keyboard, and I've never used it for Farm Sim. I've thought about it. I've just never really, I don't know. I think I'm so used to playing it on gamepad, and also the walking around aspect. But I would love to. I've seen people, Mark Armstrong, of course. I've seen the way that he has the wheel set up and then uses a flight stick for the front loader and telehandler, and it's just, oh, it's so next level. And I guess I could do that. I've got the flight stick plugged in. I've just never done it. I don't know why. Yeah, I think that would make sense this time around, because we've got so much food put up for the animals. And it seems like, well, with seasons, you have a very set time limit for how long the food that you put in will last. But I feel like with seasons turned off, I topped off the animals because I didn't want them to die. But then they're using the food so slowly, it's like it'll last forever. So I don't know exactly why it asks for so much and then it uses it so slowly. But we've got plenty of animal food in the barns. So no possibility of the animals going hungry or starving or dying or anything. So yeah, I guess that could just all be money. Flight stick for front loader and HOTAS for throttle. Interesting. Okay. Never even thought about that. What flight stick do you have? Is your HOTAS that sensitive? Because mine's just like an 8-way binary. I don't know if I could use it for throttle. That's the cement truck that's the one that hit me. I'm thinking at some point we should buy this drill that we have on right now. We don't really need it because we've got that giant planter and then we've got the little 3 meter, 4 meter drill from the Kverneland pack. So we don't need it. I just kind of want it. I like it. The hose incident from 17 when the Coon pack dropped and didn't have the connecting hoses. Thrustmaster, right on. So when you say you use the HOTAS for throttle, do you use it to like increase or decrease the throttle, or is it just like when you click it forward, the throttle goes to 100%, and then when you click it back to neutral, it stays there? Like, is it a sliding scale, or is it just on off? No, we don't need lights yet. It was looking a little kind of shadowy under this tree, but not quite ready yet. Uh-oh. Hang on, Universal. Let me take a look. Let me see what Nightbot's upset about. Oh, caps. Yeah, so you you know what's up with Nightbot. Oh, okay, I got you. So the longer you hold it, the more throttle applies. Universal, that is the best response to Nightbot I think I've ever seen. People get so upset about it, and it's like it's nothing to be upset about. It's just I mean, I swapped out some of the settings and I added a couple words to it, but mostly I just turned it on. But man, I swear some people get so upset with Nightbot. No need for that. That's a fantastic response. He gets it. What brand is your controller? What is its limited nature? Oh, nice. So it's like a hand throttle. Oh, that is cool. Yeah. Yeah, I don't... We're getting ready to swap over to Twitch. That's going to happen. It may happen because I do have to move house, like I said. And it's possible that I will just... because the rig is going to be taken apart. I'm going to be sort of not streaming for a week, maybe 10 days. So it's possible that when I put the rig back together, I'll just come back to Twitch instead of YouTube. I'd like to still post videos to YouTube. I'm so disappointed because 3 years we've been growing up and up and up every month. And the minute that I started streaming, the channel stopped growing. I was at 950 subs 4 months ago when I started streaming. I have not grown a bit since then. And I did some research, and apparently streaming videos get placed differently. They don't get recommended. If your videos don't get recommended, new people don't see you, and you don't get any more subs. End of story. So having put 3 years into it, I would really like to get to 1,000 just to say that I did. But I feel like the only way to do it is going to be to start recording videos again. And I tried the other day to record a video, and it was just struggle bus. And nothing ever did come out. It just didn't work. It's like I can't do it anymore. It's the same. It's just the portable gamer. So I don't know that I can record videos, so I don't know if we'll ever get to 1,000 on YouTube, which is disappointing, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big a deal. So it could be that when I stop streaming next week to move house, that'll be it for YouTube, and everything will be on Twitch from here on out. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I know there's a lot of things that YouTube tells you to do, and I don't know. some of it I feel like, yeah, that could be valid, but I don't really trust Google / YouTube / Alphabet. I don't trust them. And so when they say this is what you need to do to grow your channel, use your words, sound it out. This is what you need to do to grow your channel. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, no, this is what I need to do to make Google money. So they say, like, respond to every comment and, you know, engage with people. I try to do all those things, but I don't know. It's just the channel has never grown. And I've had so many people comment, you know, that the channel's way bigger than yours that have either content that is the same or not even as good. Why aren't you growing? And it's like, I don't know, man. I wish somebody could tell me, because I don't know. Caden, I have a question for you. I was looking at your comments from yesterday. Yeah, I think I do have about 5. And did I switch over? If the logo is the same, if the avatar is the same, then that's me. Old school gamepad. T-Flight HOTUS 1. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. I got my eye on a Verpal set. Is it the Mongoose? It's their, I guess it's their top of line throttle and flight stick combo separated. I was looking at your comments from yesterday, Caden. Are you asking me to do a stream about how to make a mod? I was really trying to figure out what it was you were saying. I felt bad that we couldn't determine an answer for that. Okay. So you are looking for like a specific mod for a game? So we turn that off and fold it up. Make you a mod. Okay, I got you. I mean, to the best of my ability, I am happy to do that. Like I said, you've been around the channel for a long time. Seen you here a long time. You're OG. So I'm happy to make you a mod within my abilities. I'm not exactly a botter. There's some that I can do and some that I can't. But if it's something that I can do, yeah, I would be happy to do that for you. In stream. Ah, okay. I got you. So the stream part is no problem. Probably. The stream part is no problem. But what kind of mod is it that you're looking for? There you go. Thanks, Ernie. So we're going to go down to field 121 now. Before I forget, let me put, what do we want to put in there? We've got clover. We've got alfalfa. We need another sort of unusual crop. Let's do linseed? Rye? I don't know. Triticale? Pasture grass. Let's try that. Horse grass? We don't have any horses. Field grass? Let's do field grass. I don't know what else to do. Field grass. Here we go. Oh, I got you. Caden, I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. He was just helping me turn. I'm sorry, brother. I completely misunderstood. Mea culpa. My mistake. Sorry, man. I think for now, I got enough mods. I swear there are some days where the majority of people in the stream are mods. But yeah, Ernie's always here. Fried is here most of the time. I think for the moment I got enough mods. Oh, I just ended that fool. Yeah, Universal. I've heard the same thing. I've heard that the way that YouTube makes money, the way that Google makes money, is they want like 6 and 7 minute videos that people watch 4 minutes of, and they're gonna they're gonna post 4 ads in there, and that's it. You know, they want the bully beatdown videos. So long form gaming, slow play gaming, you know, doesn't really lend itself. And even though the platform does have the ability to stream, it's like YouTube really doesn't want you streaming. And the fact that they sort of punish your channel if you stream, I think is confirmation of that. So I've heard really good things about Twitch. And I just think YouTube is a dying platform. I think in the same way that, you know, Facebook obviously is massive. It's got billions of users, literally billions with a B, but it's fading fast. And in 5 years or 10 years, I think, you know, Facebook is going to be like having a fax machine. But for now, you know, it is what it is. So Twitch is where it's at, but I got pride problems. So the idea that I would dip out of YouTube before I had 1,000 subs is like, it's like nails on a chalkboard for me. I just want to find a way to like get those last subs so I can bounce. But it is strictly a pride thing. There's no practical reason to do it. But yeah, Twitch is all signs point to Twitch at this point. That's where we need to be. And Caden, just to clarify, brother, it's nothing personal, and it's not. I don't have any problem with you. I gotta be mindful of how it looks when people come to the channel. That if everybody here's a mod, that's not, you know. Yeah, exactly, Ernie. It's really like, it's almost like a feeling of physical discomfort, because it seems like it's right there. And we did grow like 10% per month for 3 years, and then a few months ago it just absolutely stopped. So, all right. So this field in particular, let's do this like a real field. Let's do this like we know what we're doing, and let's just do lengths until we work our way across the field and get to the gate. And we may do a headland if we have to, but you know what I mean? Let's just do this like a real thing. Yeah, exactly. It is very frustrating. And then you throw in the OCD, and it's like, oh, it's right there. But I did. So I'm going to drop this. I did sort of resign myself the other day to, you know, I'm just going to have to do some videos. And even the thumbnail that I made yesterday for the tutorial stream, that is probably the most like classic YouTube self-promoting, you know, it's got a big emoji. It's I didn't want to do it, but I feel like I need to compromise my principles just a little bit and get those last 35 subs, and then we can call it. But Twitch is, yeah, it's definitely where it's at. And I have a feeling that after the move, when I start streaming again, it will be almost exclusively on Twitch. And there's a possibility that if I stop streaming, that the channel will start growing again, even if I don't post any new content, which again, I think is an indication of how, I don't want to say broken, but skewed maybe. You know, I know the algorithm is worth billions of dollars, but at the same time, it's a little busted. So I'm not ruling out the possibility that when I stop streaming, just the residual growth from the 1,000 videos that I have posted will take me up over 1,000 without me doing anything for the channel at all. Like I could go away and come back in a month and I'd have 1,000. All right, field grass, here we go. 69 hours of FS19. I don't think you can, Hank. I don't think there's any way to download it. I don't think there's a way to get your content back from Twitch. And I believe Twitch only saves streams for 60 days. They only keep the VOD for 60 days. So they are very much a streaming channel. They keep the VOD as a courtesy for people that may have missed it, but it doesn't stay around forever. They're mostly about live content. Yeah, that was the goal, Ernie. And yeah, and the stream yesterday, I tried to record it. It was probably 15 takes in about 2.5 hours, and I just can't record videos anymore. It's like I can only stream. So I gave up. I wanted to do it as a video to see if it could perform better as a video than as a stream, but I couldn't do it, so I had to stream it. I've also thought about going to Twitch exclusively for gaming, but then starting another channel on YouTube under a different name and just putting up the most like clickbait, exploitive content. It's not for any of you. I'm not saying like I want any part of this audience to waste their time on that nonsense. I'm saying I want to do it just to, you know, post really crap clickbait videos and have 100,000 subs in 4 months. Just to sort of confirm that the worse the content is that you can put up on YouTube, the better it's going to do. All right, and I think, yeah, we'll be able to. I was curious if we put a different type of seed in here, if we were going to go through it any faster, but we're not. So we'll have plenty to finish this field, and that will be pretty close to 2 hours, so we might call it right there. And I do want to go back and try one more time to sell milk. I've tried to sell it multiple times, and it keeps telling me, like the guy that drives the truck lost the keys or something. It's like it doesn't let you sell milk very often. But it's coming up with the PC controls. Do you mean like the mouse and keyboard? Or do you mean like the Xbox? Like A, B, C, D versus square and triangle? Yeah, Hank, I got a whole list of them. I think my favorite one is put something in the thumbnail and then don't put it in the video. Because if you put like I saw one for like it was like a roller coaster that jumped. Right? So it was obviously photoshopped when I thought about it. But it was a roller coaster with a section of track missing, and it was like the 10 scariest roller coasters in the world. Such a thing does not exist. But by putting that in the thumbnail, you keep people watching till the very end, because there's some part of the human mind that wants to see the first thing they saw. And it's evil, man. It's devious. It's just trickery. It's just, so I don't know, man. It's telling me the PC controls instead of the PS4 one. I mean, are they the same? Because it should be the same, right? You got a D-pad, 4 buttons, shoulder bumpers, and 2 sticks. Yeah, but in fairness, I mean, if you can get it working now without a gamepad emulator, you're better off. You're saving yourself some headaches, because the gamepad emulator is it can be a little tricky. It can be a little maintenance intensive. But as long as it's working, I mean, if it's really like a problem for you that the buttons are different, I'm not telling you, like, you do you. But if it's just throwing you off a little bit, it's probably simpler than to mess with the emulator. All right, and then we want like so and like so. Oh, you know what though? I didn't even think about that. I was, yeah, I apologize. I was a little glib about that. Like, oh, what's the big deal? You know, whether it's ABXY or square, circle, triangle. But I guess if you're not, yeah, I mean, if you're really used to seeing the hints for PlayStation, right? You might have to pause every time. Like, wait a minute, which one is Y? All right, and this is actually working. I mean, I'd like to end up right at the gate when we're done. No guarantees. Yeah, where I've seen people use it most is for games that don't have any controller support, and they need to essentially convert a gamepad to mouse and keyboard inputs. And I don't know if this is true or not. I've heard that you can't use a gamepad in iRacing, but I don't know how they would monitor for that. I mean, it's just axis input, right? And you can easily get around it with an emulator. So I don't know if that's true or not. I know it would be incredibly disrespectful to try to race in iRacing on a gamepad. I know there are people that are very, very fast in race sims and race games on a gamepad, but it's just... Did I say iPad earlier? I hope not. I know there are people that can race on a gamepad, but to try that in iRacing, I think would be... It wouldn't be cool to the people that are on a wheel and pedal setup and taking it so seriously. Oh, I got you, Universal. Yeah, after you said that, I let it kind of bounce around my head for a minute, and that could be, yeah. So again, I apologize if I came off kind of snooty when I said that, like, oh, it was no big deal. No, you're right, that could be a big deal. I mean, it's a little bit hokey, but no, that wouldn't work. I was thinking you could, like, maybe just get a set of those caps that you put over, but it's not going to change what you're seeing on screen. Like the tips that you're getting, the on-screen tips are still going to be for a different system. Camera. I mean, there are times when it seems to do it more so, and I feel like when we've got the camera at like a very high angle, like right up about here, is when that seems to happen the most, but I just cannot figure out the actual cause of it. Yeah, man, it's like learning a new language. And I mean, I guess because I've played both consoles a lot over the years, I'm sort of like, it's all the same to me. Yeah. Yeah. First person? I mean, first person I got... Well, hang on. We reset the TrackIR. First person, not too bad for me. But it could be that TrackIR is kind of like overwriting everything, because TrackIR is constantly updating the camera. Whereas when you go third person, it sort of stays where it is until it gets an input. Maybe. I don't know, man. I don't know nothing. I did see a Windows update earlier today. Well, no, that wouldn't be, because the Windows update already went through, and I did the restart and everything. I was thinking maybe it was something I could blame on Windows. I don't know. What the problem is I have too many devices plugged in. I've got seriously like 8 control devices and input devices plugged into one PC. There's got to be some lead through there. There's got to be some overlap and some phantom signals. So I think really the only answer is to get another tower and split these rigs. One for racing and flight and one for everything else. And I've been looking at actual freestanding race rigs, right? Like the chair and the mounts and everything. And there are a couple companies that make one. You can rig it for racing. So you got your wheel and pedals mounted, you got your monitors mounted, you've got your shifter mounted, and then you can also, on that same platform without moving anything, you can mount a flight stick, a throttle, and button boxes. So that would be, I mean, it's again, it's a lot of input devices, but at least it would only be one piece of furniture that I'd have to have. I don't want to get to a point where I have like 3 actual rigs. That's crazy. And I do have to have all this stuff set up in my office. I never have clients in my office, so it's not like anybody's going to see it and wonder, like, what's that all about? But sometimes I just worry that I'm physically going to run out of space if I get enough junk in here. Well, I only need to worry about that for another week, but the next office is about the same size. And honestly, I don't intend to be there very long, probably 3 or 4 months. And then the office after that, hopefully, is going to be 2 or 3 years. It'll be permanent. I will officially be no longer the portable gamer. I'll be the permanent gamer. And at that point, sky's the limit. I can absolutely fill that space. A couple USB hubs. I've thought about that, Hank. The problem that I have is, well, it's not my problem. It's a Windows thing. Depending on how and when you plug a USB device in, it sort of gets recognized differently. So I feel like every time I plug in or unplug a USB device, it's not guaranteed, but it's like there's a possibility that it will no longer be seen in Windows as it was before, and then you sort of need to reconfigure it. But yeah, I've thought about that. And I've got a hub now. And I was saying earlier in the stream, if I was going to be plugging and unplugging things a lot, I would want to do it in and out of the hub rather than my motherboard USB ports, because I don't want to wear those out and have to replace them. That it can be done, but it's expensive. But yeah, I'd rather pull plugs on the hub. I mean, if it was one device, if I knew it was one device, I could just get rid of that one, as long as it wasn't my wheel or something. But that's my concern, is that it is my wheel. Or, I don't know, something. right? Because they have Hall sensors and they're so sensitive. I feel like even like the wheel even just being in the wrong position, it's like it's reading two positions at once because the Hall sensors are so delicate. So to me, it looks like it's stationary, but to Windows, it looks like it's flicking back and forth between two values. I've looked for one. I haven't found a hub with on-off switches. I've found some big analog ones, but they're more for like power plants, I guess. I don't know. It's a really it's not what I'm looking for is like an old school printer box, right? An old school PS2 box. PC2? PS2. An IBM PS2 switch box where you could control hardware with a big analog switch instead of it all being controlled via software. But I haven't found anything like that yet. And I think, oh my goodness, I don't know how this works out. I really don't, because I certainly don't do it on purpose. But by the time we get around to the other side of the field, I think we're going to be at exactly 2 hours. And I always take that as a sign. Lower that. Yeah, if I could find some kind of a USB switch box where, as long as your system was off, obviously you couldn't hot switch it, but if your system was off and you flipped those switches off, those USB devices were gone, but when you turned your system off again, flip those switches on, when you turned your system back on, everything, all your USB devices were exactly as they were before. That would be my ideal scenario. All right, and I think I may need to do, yeah, I'll do it off camera, but I think I may need to do a second. I left some of these a little bit wide, so we'll need to do a second headland just to get all the way out to the edges there. Well, there you have it. All right, so we got all our crops in. We have our sugar beets in. Those are growing. We've got our corn harvested, and then we got 2 more fields planted with corn. We've got alfalfa in now to go with our clover. And we've got field grass down here. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what I just planted. I really don't. Just had to plant something. So cool. And that is, yep, 59 minutes. Perfect. All right, Ernie, got any requests tomorrow? I was thinking of flying from Barra, which is that little island off the coast of Scotland, to Donegal, and then to Dublin, I guess, and then to Manchester, and then to Gatwick. But those are fairly short flights, and we're going to spend a lot of time climbing and descending, and not a lot of time like at altitude. I don't want to say doing nothing, but you know what I mean. We'll be doing more fun stuff. Yeah, there it goes again. Enough tries, and we will get recognized. And where's the sun? Right there. Beautiful. All right, cool. We'll do that tomorrow, and we'll have to figure out if we want to do that in... We could do it in the King Air. King Air is a little bit big, but we could do it in the King Air, or we could switch out. We could do like one leg in the King Air, one leg in the DA62, and one leg in the 206. I don't know. I'll figure it out between now and tomorrow. But yeah, we'll work our way south, starting at Barra, all the way to Gatwick. That'll be fun. All right, cool. There you go. Thanks, everybody. You're awesome. I do appreciate you. Thanks for doing this with me. It's the best part of my day. And I'll see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll do some Flight Simulator General Aviation. There you go. Thanks. Good night.